resident. I've lived here as a renter. I've lived here as a homeowner. I've lived in 3 different areas in Mountain View. I know a lot about this town. When I raised my kids here, they went to public schools. I have extensive community involvement in terms of schools, sports, music. I have one kid now, he's a professional musician, the other one's a professional baseball player. So we've done everything in terms of that, and then involvement with other types of programs in the communities. But I think the biggest strength that I offer is my background. My day job, we all have day jobs for the most part, given the salaries. And I work as an economist at San Jose State University. 2 things that offers. One, colleges use what we call collegial governance. That is, all of us sit at a table here, we all make decisions just like this. We work collaboratively together, and you have to know how to form consensus. It's not a managerial approach where you say, hey, I'll listen to what my employees say, but in the end, I make the decision. So you have to learn how to get along with others and work with others, and I'll tell you, that's been the greatest learning experience for me, starting as an untenured professor, moving up to the tenure track. The other thing that I bring is strong financial skills. I'm the only one on this council that's actually done research on government spending, government output, taxation. I've got the leading research on inclusionary zoning right now with one of my colleagues at San Jose State. So I actually go out and publish a lot of the stuff that figure out how cities work and so forth. So I think that's what I offer, so that when people say, hey, what do we do now? I do a lot of work in evaluation of things. I do the benefit cost analysis. I know all the financial stuff to take care of things. I think what really helped on Parks and Rec is we do fun stuff, and that's where I think I picked up experience on land use policy. So thank you.
Thank you. All right, if you have cards, please pass them to one end or the other. The other day, one of my coworkers said, well, one thing we can all agree on is we don't make decisions around here by consensus.
Okay.
So I'm going to read this top card that is about Old Mountain View, and then I'm going to paw through the rest while the candidates are answering the questions. We'll have 1 minute for each candidate to provide the answer, and we'll start with Mayor Means and go back that way. The question is, how would you bring more retail shops to Castro Street?
To Castro Street. Okay, so this is a tough question, because as we look at Castro Street, what I hear from people and say, why won't you come down to Castro Street, is we have a nice downtown, but the building sizes are fixed. So that limits the type of retail that's going to show up. And again, the council doesn't bring things. What I hope is that we open up and we allow the rules and regulations to be flexible enough to allow different retail outlets here. But again, I think the big constraint is going to be the building sizes if we're looking at the old downtown area, which I think is great if you look and see all the historical buildings there, but they're going to limit the type of retail that can come in down there. Moving down farther, there are some potentials with older buildings that we might be able to add more retail. But again, I think the way retail comes in is there's a strong demand from the neighborhood, and then we have to have the rules and regulations so that they're flexible enough to allow different types of retail institute firms to come in. So.
Thank you very much. Mike, what are your views?
All right. Several years ago, one of the things that the council did do was to adjust how we assess parking. Restaurants have to have more parking than retail, and that was sort of a financial incentive. As Tom said, one of the problems is that the older buildings are very small, and the owners have decided they don't want to aggregate, maybe remodel, even buildings that aren't historical, and without having larger floor plates, it's going to be a problem. I think some of the issues are trying to figure out what sort of incentives retailers would need to come into town given the existing stock that we have, and also perhaps coming up with incentives for property owners to begin to combine properties, so you might have something that's a little bit bigger than what they would call in the South as sort of a shotgun home that's very long and very narrow.
John?
First of all, I do the minimum that the city can do, which is to make sure that the permit process and permit fees for businesses downtown are even more attractive than what they might be now. The reality is the question points to retail, the retail industry, the retail market. And for instance, like grocery stores, the trend has been in recent years bigger stores, fancier stores at fewer locations. So the question is, how can we? What is What's the market trick you have to play in order to find the right store that can be economically viable in a small, relatively small location like Mountain View? Same thing that we have even in new developments. Same question comes up. Southwestern project. People talk about perhaps a grocery store or other retail along Old Middlefield Way. You really have to understand the marketplace, because to get someone in there, you have to be able to make a profit. So I think you have to understand the retail market, and I look into those kinds of things.
Thank you very much, John. Laura?
Yes. Economic development is near and dear to me because I've spent essentially 25 years on sales and marketing. So from a perspective, I think there's a lot of things that the city can do from a program perspective to incentivize businesses coming in. And one of the things I think we should do is, first of all, look around and look at our success. We have a lot to be proud of. This is an area that people really celebrate. So what works? And I think part of that is going back to our businesses that are in Old Mountain View in the downtown today, find out what they like and build from that. One of the other things that we can continue to do as a city is to maintain the ambiance that we have there today. So my first year on council, I sort of really nagged on the city manager because I said, let's make sure that the trash bins are picked up on Sunday morning, that we make sure that we have a city, a downtown that we can be proud of. So it's the little things and the big things that we can do working together. I would also fast track development so that we could get something in quickly.
Chris?
I'll be brief. I think just about everything's been said already. You have, obviously, size is the biggest constraint. So could we fast track some retail in some of the smaller shops on Castro Street itself? I think we can look at that if there's significant demand from the community, which I think there is. Now, if you're looking for more like a grocery store size or a bigger retail outlet, you're going to have to, I think, as Mike talked about, you're going to have to provide incentives for people to start combining properties, and you're going to have to look for larger sizes or larger lots for those, or else it's going to be very difficult to get someone to come in and actually build there. So I'd say more of I'll just end up repeating what most others have said. I think it comes down to a matter of size, and I think we've created a pretty good ambiance that attracts quite a few folks to Castro Street now. Is there a need for retail? I think there is, but I don't think, aside from smaller retail shops, that we can do much right on Castro Street itself at this point in time.
I think one of the things I would like to see us do is kind of expand what Castro Street is defined as. I know that being on Castro Street specifically is prime retail for, prime property for anyone that wants to be there. But I think we can easily forget the side streets, the one street up, the one street down. And I think if we could find a way to be able to incorporate those immediate one-block radiuses around to expand what Castro Street is, I think that would help to bring in more retail and let those that already are here feel a bit more appreciated. So I would ideally like to see this. In some cities, they'll have the sign right on, let's say Castro Street, for example, where there might be arrows that tell you on this street, here's this business, here's that business, here's that business. So someone to be able to promote that, and I think that would attract businesses who are looking to be in the area to not feel like because they can't specifically be on Castro, but they know that they're on one of the side streets, that they can get just as much visibility than if they were.
Owner of a retail business at the Baskin Robbins down around El Camino, I'm well aware of the demands that retailers want, and as everybody mentioned the size. People also like a quick processing because everybody knows that time is money. So if they come in and want to look at something, especially for small retailers, they don't have a lot of cash, they don't have a lot of financial background or strength, so they want a fast track program so that it doesn't cost them too much money. Well, what can we do to attract businesses? As everybody mentioned, that size is important. I remember going when I grew up, where Myers Electric is, they had a basement there. That used to be JCPenney's. I wonder where JCPenney's is gone from now. So that used to be, they had the upstairs and basement. Maybe some of the stores can put in basements. I don't know how practical they are. But let's talk about attracting businesses. One, we should work with our economic development director and see what businesses require so that we go out and say, well, what does a Snowman Williams really need? How much space do they need? And work from there. Boy, that looks great.